Look at those colours, Dan.
Got blending in with the autumn.
Pro V1 X or Velocity, the weather's changed. It's wet. There's no problem with stop. People are asking me since my last test with the Crossfield and the Pro V1 X.
Yeah.
You know, should I change balls now? The ball is stopping. Why spend the more on the Pro V?
Yeah.
So we're going to play a few holes using Velocity.
Okay.
Titleist Velocity via Pro V1 for you, and I'm Pro V1 X.
Yeah.
Show you the difference, then we'll go inside and show some real ball data difference as well. Okay. Welcome to the video. Up in this card up here, let me know if you've used the Velocity or not. Up there, I'd be interested to hear. If you're new here, consider subscribing. If you're already subscribed, make sure you've got the bell icon rung so you don't miss out on the next great review. Also in that comment section down below, I want to know what golf ball you do play and why. So Pro V1 for Dan to kick off. So he's going to hit a drive with that, and he's going to hit a drive with his Velocity, and then he's going to hit an approach, and let's just see what actual difference it makes on the golf course. Decent drive, a little up the right, catching the semi-rough possibly, which is easily done on this hole.
Just in the semi there.
With a forward tee as well, and it really cuts the corner. So Velocity, let's see if there's going to be a different sound or feel. Have you ever hit one of these? Don't think you have you?
Not sure I have. I might have chipped with one maybe, but I don't think I've ever come out on the course and actually played with one.
Yeah. That's a better line, second time round. I couldn't tell a difference in the sound of those.
No, zero difference in sound, feel, same ball in my mind.
Yeah.
When I'm coming off the club face. So Pro V1 to start with.
Pro V1 X for me to kick us off. We'll cut into the middle. Let's try a Velocity. I have played, I think I've tested this ball before.
Have you?
I think I have. I tested them all once in Spain. Well, I've got a little left with that. Should get just through there, hopefully. I'm not sure. I felt like that was slightly louder, but again, I did it a bit out at the bottom. It's hard to tell if it's me or the ball, basically. Yeah. So my Velocity, Dan's Velocity.
Yeah, that's my Velocity.
So both our second more up the left, I think, is more interesting because we had a second go at it.
I know, isn't it?
And I'm literally just walking straight across this fairway. Green is this way, tee back down here. So you can see I'm walking pretty much in a straight line. This is maybe a yard back from my Velocity, and then Dan's is maybe 4 yards back from his Velocity, but it did catch up in the rough and was a very different shape.
But I was going to say, the difference in the fact that these are, what, 3 or 4 paces maybe further up than both our Pro Vs, is purely based on the different flights. Yeah. Because we've hit first balls with these where they've both drifted right.
Learned from it.
We've learned from it. We've gone up the left, which both shots are a lot straighter. Yeah. Therefore, with that movement to the right, you're just going to lose a few extra yards from that.
Yeah. Right, let's see what happens with approaches then.
Okay. Yeah, 137, 143 on the slope.
143 on the slope. 8 irons it is. Pro V1 approach, slight semi-rough.
Oh, that was a bit heavy. Go.
It's straight at it. Yeah. Coming up short through a little bit of strikeage.
Just a trunk. That's all that was.
So this is the same club. It's literally 3 yards, 4 yards closer Velocity ball. That's a good shot. Much cleaner strike. So those two aren't really comparable, but it'd be interesting to see how that's gone.
Yeah, very different strike, weren't they?
But I'm going to hit 8 with both as well. Did you feel any difference in the sound for those two?
It's difficult to say. I mean, the only thing I can go by is my previous experience with a Pro V, because I can't take anything from that shot. Yeah. But I would say the Velocity, if anything, felt a little bit spongier. Okay. Off the face, and that's a sound of like softer.
Yeah. Pro V1 X then to kick us off, 8 iron. Dropped that really quite good.
Yeah.
I'm flagging at the minute.
Flagging your irons.
That's decent. Velocity.
Same club.
Pretty much the same distance. Same shot. I would say the Velocity God, I can't wait to see those. They look identical to me in the air.
Well, yeah,
velocity feels like more of a non-hit.
Okay.
Pro V1X had more of a clip.
So you're having almost a little bit more feedback from the Pro V1X over the
Yeah,
velocity?
well, I would say the most golfers, if they felt what I just felt there, would think that the velocity has got a softer feel.
Yeah, similar to what I thought.
Yeah. I had no issues hitting those 2/8 irons into that green thinking I was in any way going to struggle to stop the ball.
No.
It's wet enough for anything to stop there. Stop is not in my mind on that approach shot with the land angle on a full shot like that.
Did you strike them both the same?
Yeah, they were like the same shot in my mind.
It'd be interesting to see their distances, differences when we get up here and have a little look.
Well, there's your Pro V fat ball. Yeah. So kind of doing what we would expect really, isn't it? Yeah. It's like come up short, landed.
Short, and nothing's going to help that.
No.
That's like a proper duff.
And if we walk up, there's my Pro V1X, which landed here.
Yeah, if I pace those.
Literally landed there, look. Where's the land for the... Yeah, look at the difference.
12 paces, that's 12 yards further.
In spin. Obviously the velocity is closer. So on this occasion I was always at the top of my 8.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they've both landed, I would say, in an equal distance from the hole.
Yes.
Obviously, but one's 12 yards further
because
on
I've caught, that's a very good point actually, yeah, because obviously the slope is making that a bit confusing, isn't it? They probably measure the pitch marks from the hole.
From here?
Here's my pitch mark, look.
6 yards.
6.
6 yards, it's the same. It's the same pace.
So they're exactly the same shot.
Yeah.
One's gone 6 past, one's come up 6 short, and then slope's taking its effect. And then your velocity.
So my velocity is thrown all the way back here because it's stopped.
Which has done pretty much the same as what mine done. I reckon you've landed up the slope. Look there.
Yeah. So there you go. So I've pitched into the slope.
Which is right. You're a club to half a club more than me on the iron, and you've hit that half a club more.
I would suggest, based on where you are with your Pro V, I would suggest that my good strike with the or decent strike with the Pro V would have been probably in a very similar spot. Maybe I might have just stayed up on the top shelf.
So we're going to do more. That hole there, driver and second shot. Obviously the cost of those 2 balls is completely different. It's winter golf, you get a few temporary greens, it's going to stop. Which ball would you game at the moment?
I would have to game my Pro V purely based on the fact that this is going to take me a bit of time to get used to my numbers. So if I'm going out to play golf, then I've got to make an adjustment here for... But where do I make... The problem is, where do I make that adjustment? Because I didn't see it off the tee. Yeah. But I've seen it with your 8 iron coming in here. Yeah, yeah. So where do I make that adjustment? Do I make that adjustment at 8 iron down? Do I make that 7 iron down? Where does it have to...
So for me, I would be velocity. Okay. If I was paying for balls this time of year, I understand why people are saying, you know, why would I game a Pro V? The only thing that would worry me, exactly the point you're making, is if it continues to go a different distance with different clubs, which we'll keep trying to measure as this test goes on. Yeah. Why? So I would need to relearn that, knowing that so people start with their Pro V1, win a golf, hit a few bad shots, and then they go to their velocity. Yeah. Because I think I'm not hitting any more in the lake, which I get. But then it might be luck that they hit it closer rather than skill. And vice versa, do you see what I mean? Unless they know the adjustments, if there is one. That's literally 2 shots, isn't it? So we're going to go down the par 5 here, play it out with both balls. We get a variation, the shots inferior will get a chip as well. Yeah. See if there's any difference. Right, here's the walk the line again. So green is this way, it's out the right of you, find the tee is that way. This is Dan's velocity. And then going forward, here is my Pro V and velocity. So Pro V has won by a yard there, but I wouldn't call it a win. They're the same. Bounce and everything taking its part. So Pro V velocity. And then Dan hit his Pro V past everyone, so I'm just presuming this was a better shot, was it?
It was kind of a lower, more knuckleball turning over a little bit,
yeah.
So a little bit lower spin probably. When it's landed, it's probably landed in a similar spot and then just run down there a little bit more.
So we're about 240, 250 out, so we're going to whack some free woods down there, see if we notice a difference. This is velocity. It's a good hit up the right side.
That should be plenty of club.
Yeah, just on the right side, definitely a chip in play, well done.
So you're going velocity first.
Velocity is slightly further away. So
same yardage, about 240 you've got in here.
From the tee again, I didn't feel any difference between those two.
No.
I think that'll be a theme of almost all their range of Titleist balls. Yeah, not that good. It needs to catch that bunker though. Oh yeah, it did. Bunker shot practice. Right, same thing with the Pro V1X. Oh, that's straight at it. That's staying straight. Oh, just left side of the pin. Get up.
Yeah, it's a good shot that.
That's on. Again,
I'm not hearing anything different.
I did. I
those.
would say again, my Pro V1 was a little bit firmer feeling.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting off a 3-wood face, isn't it?
And that might be not true. That is what I think I felt with those, as in it, you know, it's you're talking about audible sound,
yeah.
Really,
yeah.
Which we interpret as feel. If I was to say anything there, I don't want to hit more to confirm it, but it felt like the velocity had that, similar to what we got with our 8-irons over there. Right, Danny's walking forward to his good booming drive. He's now going to hit a 5-wood, but I think an interesting point with this is that if you were using one ball hitting a 3-wood or a 5-wood, I guess you know what you would expect to hear, sound and feel, wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a massive, I'll be honest, acoustically wise, there's not a massive difference between my 5-wood and my 3-wood, to be honest with you. So yeah, I would know what it felt like.
So 5-wood, and this is Pro V1.
It's Pro V1.
So his gaming ball. That's just a good shot, drawing in Danny's favourite club. It is a good club there.
Might be a little knuckly one. Oh, it's blown away.
That's a great shot.
Go in.
In you go for a 2.
Oh, it's gone in.
Has it?
It's just gone.
It hasn't, has it? It went in?
Yeah, it went in.
Really?
Well, we'll go and have a little look when we get up there.
Are you joking me? That went... Has that honestly gone in? You twat. It bloody has gone in, hasn't it?
I tell you what, I said it on the last green. I would have Pro V1 in my bag all day long. That's what it does. That's just what it does.
Why do you ever take that 5-wood out of your bag? Well, I never understand that. So I'm just in the back of this bunker with velocity. My 3-wood is on the back. Dan's 3-wood is pin high here. I'm going to pull mine out of the bunker because I want to chip with it. So I think, so there's Dan's velocity. I mean, it's pin high. It's a good shot. My 3-wood just passed. It's not, is it?
And there's a little ball in there. There's a Pro V1, my favourite ball in golf.
Look at the water, we had so much rain here. You...
Oh, you little beauty.
You little Hendriksen.
You little beauty.
That's an albatross.
That's a Pro V1. Thank you.
That's
all I need.
Pro V1
That's
albatross
all I need.
ball. So let's hit a few chips. I'm going to hit a little wedge. You've had to pull your ball out the hole. I've moved mine out the bunker. So this is Pro V1X. Just a little chip and run. That's the feel I'm used to. Yeah, so again, that does start feeling softer.
Yeah, I can hear that now when you're chipping with that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let me just chip one over. Now again, from here, would you be expecting different spins?
From this position, I suppose if you're putting a little bit more speed into the shot,
yeah, I mean,
then
again,
you might start to see a little bit of difference.
You do, the velocity does feel, it's a duller, softer sound.
I'm hearing a duller sound.
But I mean, I'm chipping there in a way that I don't want any spin. I'm literally just throwing it over this mound and running it.
Yes.
So again, the spin with this is irrelevant. We'll show you the difference in spin when we get inside the dry ball data. Because I do think you're going to see a big difference in its performance when you start hitting 9 irons downwards. which will be your big buying premises. At the moment, from getting from the tee to the green with full shots, unless you're pitching in, I'm not feeling much difference apart from that sound when you start adding a bit of loft. Nice sound on that. Good shot. Just checking up. And then velocity. Oh, I don't know if there's much in. I don't know.
I was saying to you a minute ago. You know, I've been one to probably. I should game the Pro VX.
Yeah. From
the numbers point of view, but I prefer the feel and the sound of the Pro V because it's a duller, softer feel to me.
So they're getting closer in sound.
I think they're getting closer.
That's Pro V1X.
Pro V1, that is.
Sorry, Pro V1 for you, isn't it? Pro V1. This is velocity. Thoughts?
No.
Cool, you can't hold them, but you can hold it from 260.
Yeah, it's a game, isn't it? It's marginal. If anything, probably now, just off the putter face, I would say the velocity feels a bit more puttier, like
putty as in like building putty.
Yeah, like that would be now starting to get, I think, close to what the old Bellata kind of felt like off the face.
Yeah. With this putter as well, that has a little ting to it. That's like got a tingy sound. Velocity. God, I don't think there's. I think it's loft, isn't it? So obviously there's no loft again. We're getting close to driver ideas, and it just that feels the same. Let's have a look. Let's go inside and look at the actual numbers where the discerning difference might be. At the moment, wet like this, I get why people want to play the cheaper ball because it's going to stop. Let's just see what difference that might make when we go through a few lofts, when we can control the conditions of the strike a bit more. So we're inside. We're going to start Pro V1 driver. We're going to go through a few different lofts and show you the numbers. The Albatross man will kick us off. Right, inside data, Dan's been hitting. It's very eye-opening again. So Pro V1 driver to velocity driver, 265 carry to 267. So you're 2 yards further with the velocity on that back shot. Spinning at 2.5 with the velocity and 2.6 with the Pro V. So basically spinning pretty much the same. Launching within a degree of each other, velocity 13 to Pro V 14. They're tight. Your discrepancy in there as much as the ball. They're off the tee, pretty much the same. We then go to a 7-iron, Pro V averaging 162, velocity averaging 163 distance within a yard of each other. Pro V actually going a yard higher, 39 to 40 with Pro V, so again I would call them the same. And then the velocity spinning a fraction more at 6,817 compared to 6,729 with the Pro V. Again, launching within 0.3 of each other. Driver and 7-iron, play the cheaper ball. Save your money, play the cheaper ball. There's no difference. So if you're hitting a lot of 7-irons into a greens and you're hitting lots of drives off the tee, you ain't going to get the distance with the velocity that I think some people do think. And you're not getting any more stopping power, particularly with the Pro V over the velocity when it comes to a 7-iron. I would say 8-iron, 6-iron, 5-irons, hybrids into green. Go to a 56-degree wedge, trying to hit it 100 yards, and it's massive difference that we see now. Now you see the advantage of a Pro V over other balls in the range. So you've averaged a 100-yard carry with a velocity to 98 carry with the Pro V. You've peaked height at 29 with the velocity and 28 with the Pro V. You've averaged the velocity spin at 6,356 revs. You've not got into 7,000.
Wow.
Pro V is 10,872 with some in the 1100s.
Which is what I would expect.
Unbelievable. You're getting close to double spin on a full 56 pitch into a green. Another interesting thing is the velocity is launching higher, 34 to 31. So Pro V's launching lower with more spin, yet they both have the same descent angle, 52 to 52 degrees. And then your ball speed's having to change. So as you try to find a distance, I mean, basically, if you get 84 ball speed with 2 shots, you've got an equivalent here of like 103 yards to 98. So you start struggling to control distance by 5 yards. and then in turn stopping power is going to be quite different. Certainly when you need that spin to stop it, when it does firm up a bit. Downwind, no, you're going to get downwinds as well on winter greens. So you are going, it's going to stop, but it won't stop quite as well. So yeah, I think I honestly would say that when it's really wet like it is at the minute, I would have no problem with a student using something like a Velocity. Would you?
No, not at all.
But I would have a problem if they're going to complain that they can't control distances on the short stuff compared to what they're used to. You would need to recalibrate. You would need a gap testing with that ball to make sure you understand how it is going to give you a variation in distance. But obviously a lot of people watching this video will go, well, I'm not 4, 5, 6 yards accurate with my land with a wedge anyway, so I don't care. Yeah, I agree. Play the cheaper ball, save you money, have more lessons, those kind of things. But I would say if there's anyone who wants to play to their best, and let's take money out of the equation, let's say you win some 2s and you get the same amount of balls, I know this wouldn't happen, but you know, in Velocity to Pro V all day long. Like, why would you give that away? It's just crazy, apart from your variations that you can't control and you just want to save the money, which I totally understand. But it's eye-opening, isn't it? You've never done this test, have you?
I've never done this test before.
And that's massive, isn't it?
Well, I tell you what, I was expecting there to be a difference through the bag.
Yeah, I know most people do.
So I was expecting this to maybe launch a bit higher with the driver and the irons, and maybe spin a little bit more, possibly. But I was expecting what I kind of got around the green out there, as in from the chipping and the feel differences. That's what I expected to get. I expected this to maybe be a little bit softer, but compared to the Pro V, I don't think it was a great deal of difference in it.
Look at the colours of the two. This is a noticeable point with both. It's whiter, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got like a little speckly sort of, almost a sprinkle of, you know, fairy dust in there.
And then also look at the typeface.
Yeah.
It's clunkier compared to the Pro V has I think, a classier looking typeface.
Yeah, I would say exactly the same. Yeah, I mean they're the same from this point of view with the logoing side of things, but yeah, there's definitely a difference here. This is more of a matty kind of finish compared to.
And I think that looks glossy. More premium than
yes,
that, personally.
Oh, it does, absolutely it does. But for me, you know, to see the numbers with that wedge, you know, in the wedge game is such an important part of certainly our games, because we haven't got the length. We need the wedge game to be very, very solid for us. I just couldn't do that. So
what an interesting one. Every pack of those you sell in your shop, if you are not trying to sell them a custom fit or a gap testing, if they come from Pro V1s, you're not doing justice to that customer.
Absolutely right. And to be honest,
which ball should I use? Which ball do you normally use? Well, you normally use Pro V1, but it's a bit wet, everything's stopping. Should I go to these? They're cheaper. Yeah, but we need to check your wedges. Even if you give them 5 minutes in here for free when they're going to buy a dozen. You know, I would
just bring your wedges down.
Bring your wedges down. Let's check. Look, they go a little further, so just bear that in mind, and it won't stop as much. Oh, it doesn't stop as much. I might take my Pro Vs, or they might go, okay, I'll play that into into their game. One last point, I want you just to chip it 10 yards.
I'm about 7.
Okay, so 7 yards spinning at 2-1. So now go velocity. So 7.1, 2-1, 7-8 spin. So now go velocity 7 yards. It's irrelevant, the distance, as long as they go the same.
9 yards.
2,000. Do velocity, do Pro V now, and then go 9 yards. Can you match them?
Identical.
9.2 at 2.8, and that's what I think. You're just not going to know. It's right in that sweet zone, that scoring zone. It's that wedge game.
Yeah, it's
where we see. I think it's going to be like basically 9 iron inwards.
Yeah. And that's what I saw with that little chip. You know, I had a chip shot on the par 5 there. I didn't see a difference in the flight,
I don't think
how it landed, anything like that. So I think they're the same from that point of view.
So which one would you game now, knowing what you know?
Pro V.
Which one would you game if you were buying balls? It's a tough question, isn't it?
Well, it is.
I'm going to put you at 13 years old, playing off 24 handicap.
Yeah. Velocity.
You just want more balls you can lose.
I'm aiming to try and get some 2s and win them in the comp. I get as many of these as I possibly can.
But what ball do you want at that age then?
That.
Yeah, exactly.
I want my name on it.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, you can't deny that performs better in the range. But when it comes to buying balls, there are criterias that overwhelm sometimes just performance, which is why you see people who don't pay, pros and people who sell balls and what have you, they will just go with the one that's best. But as soon as you put a price tag on them, then it complicates the decision. And I don't think there's a right or wrong here. If you want my personal opinion, and I say this to my parents when they ask me when we go around for dinner, what ball should I use? You know, why do I spend money? And I just say, well, you should be using Pro V. It's a no-brainer. Yeah. Pro V is what you should be using. That's the ball you should be using. Yeah. But they're so expensive. Yeah. Well, then use a True Feel or a Velocity. You won't see that big a difference. But you did ask me which one you should be using, and this is the reason why, which is basically all in this video.
There are guys out there, and I look at two different types of golfers out there to a degree. There are guys that like to lose lots of balls. Yeah. And there are other people that wear out balls. Yeah. And I can see the guys that tend to fire balls everywhere and lose balls tend to more towards the velocity. Yeah. But if you're wearing golf balls out,
then treat yourself. The biggest problem with that, though, if you're swapping balls, you see what I mean? That's the test for me. Shows more the danger in swapping. As in, I think velocity, I would be able to learn my game around it. Yeah. I would be where I would lose in some situations, but I would then learn to increase land angle and height. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? This won't stop at this distance, so I'm now going to bang a 60 rather than hit that low 56 in. Yeah. I would work around it. So those people who are starting with a Pro V, hit it down the fairway, then whack one out of bounds, and then put their velocity down, and they know they're going to have a wedge in at some point. Like, that's the biggest thing for me. That would be, if you want my advice, and I can help you in any way, don't do that. Like, that's not going to help you. Post comments down below. What makes you buy whatever ball you buy? Down in that comment section down below. Maybe rate them, you know, price, performance, to colours, to brand. Let me know down in that comment section. As always, down there. Always like the comments on balls, they get quite fiery.
I bet they do.